Hi there, in this video we are going to go over how to solve two-step equations and inequalities. This is our review for our test. Alright, so we have 2x minus 10 minus 5x is equal to 50. So we are going to start first with our like terms. So if you draw the river down the equation and you notice that on the left side, hey, there's like terms here that I can combine, then you do that first. So you always want to simplify or combine your like terms first. All right, so in this case, we can combine 2x and negative 5x, and we get 2 plus negative 5, which is negative 3x. Then minus 10 is equal to 50. All right, and now we solve this as we normally would. So you have to start with the constant. The constant is negative 10. The opposite of negative 10 is positive 10. So you need to add 10 to both sides. And now you have 60 on the right is equal to negative 3x. All right, at this point, you are going to divide each side by negative 3. And then you get x on the left is equal to 60 divided by negative 3, which will get you negative 20. All right. Number 2, we have 7 minus 2x is equal to 21. So we're going to draw the river down. We're going to start with our constant. The constant is positive 7. We need to get rid of that positive 7 by doing minus 7 on both sides. All right, those 7s, they cancel out, right? 7 minus 7 is 0. On the left side, we are left with now negative 2x. On the right side, we are left with 14. All right, and now we can divide each side by negative 2, and then you get x is equal to 14 divided by negative 2, which is negative 7. All right, number 3, we have negative 5x plus 6 is equal to 31. I'm going to draw the river down, and I'm going to start solving by subtracting 6 on both sides, right? The constant is positive 6. The opposite is negative 6. These 6's, they cancel. We're left with negative 5x on the left is equal to 31 minus 6, which is 25. All right, now we're going to divide each side by negative 5, and we get x is equal to negative 5. All right, and then in number 4, we're going to draw the river down the equal sign to split the equation. If you look on the left, you will notice there are like terms here. We've got 2/5 x, and we've got 1/5 x. 2/5 x, which I'll write here, 2/5 x plus 1/5 x is equal to, all right, well, these are friendly fractions. They have common denominators already. 2/5 plus 1/5 gets us 3/5. And don't forget the x. So here we have 3/5 x plus 2 is equal to 20. All right, and now we can start solving. Find the constant, do the opposite. The constant is positive 2. The opposite is minus 2 on both sides. We have 3/5 x is equal to 20 minus 2, which is 18. All right, now at this point, super important that you remember you have a fraction next to the variable. The opposite of multiplying a variable by a fraction is to multiply by its reciprocal. All right, so at this point, you are going to multiply both sides by 5/3. All right, you're going to put 18 over 1. These are going to cancel because you get 1x, which is what we want. So we get x is equal to 18 times 5, which is 90, over 1 times 3, which is 3. And now you can do 90 divided by 3, and that gets you 30. So here our answer is x is equal to 30. All right, moving on. Number 5, it says find the mistake. What should the correct answer be? So really here there are a few mistakes, right? So when you solve this, you need to first distribute negative 1/2 times x, you get negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 times 8, which would get you negative 4, and then equals 30. So far this step was right. Now here's where we messed up a little bit, right? You have minus 4 and then plus 4. the constant is -4, so we need to do the opposite on both sides, which would be +4 on both sides, which is this person didn't do that. All right, so here is a mistake. Also, another mistake is as they went further, instead of multiplying both sides by the reciprocal, they multiplied both sides by the -1/2. Okay, you want to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So let's actually solve this the way that it should be. So -1/2 parentheses x plus 8 is equal to 30. So we are going to start first with distributing. So -1/2 times x is -1/2 x. -1/2 times 8 is -4. And then that equals 30. Next, we're going to add 4 to both sides. And we have -1/2 x is equal to 34. Now at this point, instead of dividing both sides by 1/2, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply each side by -2/1. These they cancel. We're left with x is equal to 34/1 times -2/1. So 34 times 2 is 68. And it's a positive times a negative, so we're going to have a -68. So our answer here is x equals -68. All right, next we have John is trying to solve the equation below. He did not finish because he doesn't know what the next step should be. What should his next step be? Also tell what the correct answer should be. All right, so we start off with the equation x/2 plus 1 equals -6. We subtract 1 on both sides because that is a constant, which is good. So now we have x divided by 2 is equal to -7. All right, you look to see what's being done to x and you do the opposite. So here, x is being divided by 2, so you're going to multiply by 2. Another way to think of this is you can put a 1 here and think of it like, okay, you have 1/2 x. The opposite would be to multiply the reciprocal of 2/1. And it's still the same thing. So I'm just going to think of it like multiplying both sides by 2. And then we get x is equal to -14. So what should the next step be? The next step should be multiply both sides by 2. And then the correct answer is right here. X equals -14. All right, next, number 7. What equation would you write to go with the scenario? 6 less than the product of 7 and some number is 8. So be careful with this. 6 less than. This always mixes people up. If I said I have $2 less than $10, I would do 10 minus 2. All right, in this case, whenever you have a number less than, that means minus that number in the back. All right, so here the 6 less than really means -6, and that goes at the end, right, or in the back. So 6 less than the product of 7 and some number. So you need to know this part first. The product of 7 and some number. Product means multiply, so we are multiplying 7 times some number, which I'm calling x. So, and then 6 less than that, so we're going to -6, and then we have is 8 equals 8. And that is the equation that we would write that would go with the scenario. All right, number 8, a photographer charges $30 for a sitting and a basic package of photos. Additional pictures cost $5 each. How many extra pictures can you purchase if you spend a total of $100? So for starters, we are looking for how many extra pictures you can purchase. So I'm going to say let x equal the number of extra pictures. You can also think of it like the additional photos, as it's worded in 2 different ways in this question. All right, so the photographer starts with charging $30 for the sitting, and then the basic package of photos, and then the additional photos or the additional pictures cost $5 each. So we are adding an extra $5 for each picture. So if you're buying 10 extra pictures, you're multiplying 10 times 5. If you're buying 20 extra pictures, you're multiplying 20 times 5. So we're calling that x, the extra number of pictures, and multiplying it by 5. All right, so now how many extra pictures can you purchase if you're spending a total of $100? So we're going to make our equation equal to 100, and then we're going to solve. So we're going to subtract 30 on both sides, and we have 5x is equal to 70. Next, we're going to divide each side by 5, and we get x is equal to 70 divided by 5, which is 14. All right. Next, we have 331 students went on a field trip. 6 buses were filled and 7 students traveled in cars. How many students were in each bus? So we're going to start off by saying let x equal the number of students per bus. All right, so we are given our total of 331 students. That is our total number of students that went on our trip. All right, 6 buses are filled, so we have 6x. We have x next to the 6 because we don't know how many kids are on each bus, but we do know that there are 6 buses of kids. And then we have the additional 7 kids that went in the cars. All right, so now once you have your equation set up, we can start solving. So we're going to minus 7 on both sides. Okay, that gets us 6x on the right is equal to 331 minus 7, which is 324. Now we are going to divide each side by 6, and then we get 54 is equal to x, which I know that's hard to see. 54 students is equal to x. All right, so how many students were in each bus? That is 54 students. All right, that is it. That is just part 1. I will make a second video for part 2 that starts with question number 10. Thank you for watching.